So we have learned now that the 49ers wideout, Brandon Aiyuk, continues to be the most talked about man in the NFL. If you like trades, his name keeps coming up. The reason he is at loggerheads with the 49ers. They're at impasse. Brandon Aiyuk in the Niners front office. And so all key indicators reporting that he is likely going to be traded and will not get a new contract to stay in Cali, at least Northern California. So that moves us to the latest chatter around the story here. A little birdie was chirping away here that the 49ers have already worked out the framework on what kind of draft picks they're going to get in a hypothetical trade. So they've already done the legwork on this to trade Brandon Aiyuk. They've got deals that are all done. The boilerplate has been made with the New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns. However, of course, there's always a however. The issue here is that Brandon Aiyuk has to agree to a contract extension. Otherwise, the teams are not going to be trading anything for him. So he's got to agree to a trade. Now, the Steelers have also been mentioned. They're also in the mix. In fact, many believe that he would like to play in Pittsburgh. The Washington Commanders are out, we're told. But they could always get back in. Yeah, they can get back in. They're out right now, but they can get back in. All right, now, let us discuss the question on this Brandon Aiyuk trade story. Lot of noise that the 49er wide receiver, Brandon Aiyuk, trade is imminent. How much stock do you put into this? So I've got Beatles, Goose, and Freeze Tag. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to spike the ball like beach volleyball. That's where we're going to spike it right in your face. All right, so listen, things have obviously been cranked up since we last spoke about the player. So that's clear. How much stock would I put into this? Well, the way the stock market's going in, I guess you can put a lot of it in. It doesn't matter. The stock market's not doing very well over there on Wall Street. But drinking the Kool-Aid. I am drinking the Kool-Aid on this. We're getting into the first full weekend of practice. Not a real game, practice games that are going on. And we're roughly a month away, give or take, the first week of September, about a month away from the flag is up. And we're off to the races with real regular season football. So if you look at the timeline, and timeline's a big part of this, if you look at the timeline here, it would be the perfect window to trade the player. Because if you're the New England Patriots and you're adding Brandon Aiyuk, now you could trade for him a day before the first game of the season, and he could probably do okay. But it's much easier, it's much smoother, like silk, to trade for the player now. And then you have a little time to ramp things up and some runway to take off, and makes it a little easier. Right? That's just obviously wants to be in the transfer portal. It's been clear for some time. If you're not going to pay me, you don't have to be Adam Schefter or Jay Glazer to know that these leaks are clearly coming from the side of the player. And you always look at these stories with a cynical eye, and it's like the Beatles, but not the Beatles, the rock band. It's more like the dung beetle, because where there are was manure, you see manure, there's going to be flies and dung beetles. That's what you're going to see. So there's manure, there's something to this here, and Brandon Aiyuk, he wants his money. Show me the money. The 49ers aren't going to meet his price tag. At least they're the only ones in the NFL that hasn't. You realize every other player that's complained about a contract has gotten paid other than him? Is there anyone else? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. If you know somebody, let me know, because I'm going down. We do this every day. I come in here. I'm a loser, and I pay attention. Like Tyreek Hill, I thought, wow, the Dolphins aren't going to pay him. He's going into his 30s. All he does is run, and they paid him. Why would you pay Tua Tagovailoa? They paid him. Trevor Lawrence, I didn't even know that was an option. Jacksonville paid Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you look at all the money that is flying around the NFL, and the only one that's not getting it is Brandon Aiyuk. Now, is that because of him, or is that because of some mitigating factors? I don't know. But you look around, and things are so bleak that he doesn't care who he plays for. He would be okay going to the Yinzers. In fact, we are hearing that's his preferred choice, and have Russell Wilson or Justin Fields throwing the ball. And it's not like the Patriots have a quarterback. They don't. The Browns have the creepy quarterback. That's not that exciting. And it's a lot of blank spots. All right, now, continuing on with this scene, we go to the black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, and we move away from them, and we say hello to the silver and black, which is not the black and yellow, it's the silver and black. So the silver and black, again, making some news. I got a kick out of this. I hope you heard about it, but maybe not. It'll bring a smile to your face. We need stories that bring smiles to your face. So which way are you leaning? Which way are you leaning on the head coach, Antonio Pierce, having his assistant coaches for the Raiders take part in the conditioning drills during training camp? Now, I loved it. I would like to see the video. I did not see the video. I would like to see the video. I have not seen that yet. I don't think it is out for public consumption. But you talk about bringing levity to a situation, lightheartedness to a locker room. Bravo. I love it, right? And what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and these players have to do it. And I love the fact that even Fox Sports Radio alumni member Rob Ryan, who, if you've been with Fox Sports Radio as a consumer, you might remember Rob Ryan did some shows on the weekends here at Fox Sports Radio, and dressed like he still dresses, like a schlub, which I love about him. And Rob Ryan, who always looks like he's about 8.5 months pregnant, was running with his shirt off at Raider camp, we are told there, which I am told, while it was in California, because the Raiders, even though they play in Nevada, our training camp is too hot there, so they're in California, in Southern California. Rob Ryan running with his shirt off, 8.5 months pregnant, would be illegal in the entire Bible Belt. And several other states. As well. And then you've got coaches like Marvin Lewis, who's in his mid-60s, out there running sprints. Just wonderful. Just great. Loved it. Good for camaraderie and all that. And are the Raiders going to win an extra game because Rob Ryan ran with his shirt off? No, probably not. But it doesn't take away from the fact it's all about team building. That's why the Raiders left Vegas. All these teams, when they go away from their home city, it's about bonding. And you're going to be great, and all this Tony Robbins crap is what it is. All right, now, last word here. We now go to the minutia of the rule book, because there's nothing better than cuddling up to a radio show and hearing the gas bag tell you about rules. So here we are. I bring up the words of Sean McVay. You can ram it all day. You can ram it all night. So Sean McVay is having some issues, shall we say. What is McVay having issues with? Is there some new rule involving offensive holding or something? No. It's a special teams play. Sean McVay having issues trying to wrap his head around the Fugazi new kickoff rule, which we got a peek at in that Bears-Texans game that was ended early because of the weather there in Columbus, Ohio, the Hall of Fame game. McVay said, quote, "It just feels weird." He grumbled. "It doesn't look like anything I've been familiar with in football," the Rams coach went on to say. "I know the intent is right," McVay opined. "We'll try to figure it out. I know everybody that's been involved in that has their intentions in the right place, but it's very foreign-looking, a very foreign-looking play," close quote. All right, so can you decode what Sean McVay really meant with his mini rant about the kickoff rule changes in the NFL here in 2024. So I have a Rosetta Stone. I call it the MALLER Stone. I can translate the language of coach speak and give it to you the way it needs to be delivered. So Sean McVay, what he was doing here publicly was giving a sponge bath to the NFL. Big football, like, the intent was where it needed to be. Good job with the intent, right? They were doing that whole thing. So a little sponge bath there. So there's a massage the NFL egos and all those good folks that go out to the Hamptons on the weekend and have a great time. He was tactful and subtle to the untrained ear, very subtle, with his criticism there. But the kickoff is an eyesore. It is. Right. Well, it's only been one. Yeah, it has been one game. We'll give it a little more time, but I don't see how it's going to change. I don't see how this particular play is going to become a better play. I don't, because it's got a fundamental flaw. It's like playing freeze tag. What is that in the middle of an NFL game, right? Having players unable to move their bodies while the football is flying through the air and they're on the field and they're wearing pads and they've got their helmets on and all that. It's theater of the absurd is what it is. In fact, that the NFL signed off on this and said, well, this is a good idea. They did it in the XFL. This is great. Who's running it? Who's in charge of this? Oh, this is a good idea. And I keep going back to my default position on this. It's lawyers, that this is a way to limit future liability, downstream liability from players having concussions on the kickoff. And so they're like, even though 70+% of kickoffs went through the end zone anyway. So we'll see how things go. However, as far as McVay is concerned, until proven otherwise, I would advise calling for like an ambulance if you can for a play to help out, because it's a foreign object that is intruding the NFL. It just is.